Hi, Asad. I changed your name from Acer to Asad.
Good morning, Asadji.
You're on mute, Asad. So good time to unmute and chat up.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you,
Good morning.
Asad. Arya, good morning. Harsh, good morning.
Good morning, Sanjay. Good morning, Asad.
Morning, Aarti ji.
Harsh, can we have your camera on? You were the first person to join in. I definitely want to compliment you and I want to see you. And we have more people joining in slowly. That's a good news. Okay. Vindeshwar, good morning. Thank you for joining. Please keep your cameras on. Makes us feel more lively, talking to people instead of screen. Niharika, not sure your audio is connected. I am going to speak for a little while because Niharika will realize my mouth is moving, but she is not hearing because I don't think her audio is connected. Niharika. Okay, let me put it in the chat for her.
Good morning, Arya. Where are you? I want to see your face.
Good morning, Auntie. I'm here only.
Why put the video on? Your father will be proud.
Dad sees me every day, Auntie.
But camera में देखने का मजा ही कुछ और है.
We want to see your reactions.
Okay, SHG, get you. You need to leave, but thank you for joining in and encouraging us. Yes, Mr. Chamoli, good to see you. Do you want me to call you Vindeshwar ji or Chamoli ji?
Vindeshwar will work.
Okay, excellent. So no G also required, right? Hey guys, see, all of us have gray hairs or no hair. But then we don't put any G's because we are so used to that. So if somebody minds, please let me know and correct me. I would be happy to correct myself. But wonderful to see you, Vindeshwar. Thank you for joining in. Asad, you have to go, huh? Why, yeah? Abhi na jao chhodkar.
Pardon?
अभी न जाओ छोड़कर.
नहीं जा रहा हूँ. I'm very much here.
Okay, मैंने वही तो अभी से मैंने.
Since I'm having my tea also. So
Please feel free, guys. जो भी भूखे हैं, भूखे लोग में दिमाग में कुछ नहीं जाएगा. तो प्लीज चाय पीजिए, उठे रहिए, yawn मत करिए. Yawning आ गया तो please put off your camera momentarily and yawn and come back on. And drink enough water. Keep a glass of water around you. And yes, your stomach should be full. Amit, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Amit.
Good morning, Aarti ji,
morning.
Archana madam.
Yes.
Good morning, Asad ji.
Hey, Ziad,
Good
our star
morning,
candidate. Good to see you, Ziad. Hey, why can't I hear you, Ziad? Are you saying something? Couldn't hear you. It's breaking. Hi, Divya. What a wonderful DM you have, but your face is even better than that. So please come on camera. Yes, you're there. Good morning, Divya.
Good morning, Divya.
Hey, Harsh, I still haven't seen you. See, you guys promised me in the poll that I will get to see you with your hands up like this, like taking an oath, right? Which I had put up. Now you have to fulfill your promise now. Put your camera on so that I can see you. This is see you. All right. We are at 11. We will probably wait for a minute for any new joinees. I think also some people are correcting their connections. Hi, Mahesh. Good morning. Good to see you join in.
Hello. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yes, there he is. And for guys, some of you who don't know, he is one more chartered accountant today with us in this forum. So other than our speaker, so that's great, wonderful. Ziad, is your connection good now? I'm just waiting for you to get connected with your audio properly so that we can get started.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, that's good. All right.
Loud and clear.
Yes. So guys, the last row on my screen, Ziad, Arya, Harsh and Niharika, please bless us with the vision of seeing your wonderful faces. So please camera on karo, right? Please get your cameras on. All right. So as you guys do that, let me get started formally. So welcome once again to the webinar series conducted by CFS, which is CLC Finishing School. And we are in the third episode today. And it's wonderful to see our audience growing slowly, although we have like 135 people register. But you know, that's the thing that out of 135, 13 actually end up coming. So that's the ratio. I understand we are all learning, but I hope slowly this number is going to grow. And you know how? I have hopes from those of you who are attending to also pull in your friends to join in, especially if you find these series valuable, right? Okay, so I just want to share a line about CFS, you know, the sponsor, the organizer of this program, CLC Finishing School. The idea of setting this up is really to support individuals live up to their true potential. Now, the question is, what is our true potential? That is a big question that many of us don't have a clue about. And that's exactly what we want to support you with. We want to help you understand who are you, what's your true potential, and how you can develop a proper roadmap and strategy for living up to or reaching that life of living according to your potential. So we are all like mentors with different kind of expertise as you are getting to meet us. So we have done, you know, a lot of hard work, and we are putting in everything we have out there on this platform. Now, the least you guys have to do is to really come and use this platform for your own good, right? So now with that, I would like to ask a question from all the participants. Can you all put in the chat box one, description, small description about what's your current status? If you are a student, if you're a first year BCom student, please can you put FI, BCom. If you're second year, then put that. Or if you're doing MBA, if you're a student, please put that. If you are a graduate, unemployed, then please put what is the qualification, you know, highest qualification you have, and just put unemployed or UE. And if you are a person who is employed, help us by understanding, what is the employment you are in, or what's your designation. If you want, share where you're working. If you don't want to put that, you can simply put the role in which you are working. All right, great. So let me see, MBA first year student. Thank you, Muhammad Altaf. You know, sometimes I'm a little confused when the T and H goes here and there. Please excuse me if my pronunciation is not right. Altaf, MBA first year student. Can the rest of you also entrepreneur? Yes. Oh, I missed greeting you. Rajiv Kumarji, good morning and welcome to the webinar. Wonderful to see you. Last time I missed, and this time I have. Thank you. Good to see you. Wonderful. Entrepreneur, guys, the rest of you, undergrad, third year student, right? Arya, can you just add in third year doing what? Like which course? That would help. Our speaker especially, even though he knows you still, we want to know, the rest of us, right? All right. Slowly it's coming in. Okay. All right. So while you guys are starting to put that, for some reason, I think it's taking a bit of time to show up on my chat box, or Don't tell me you guys are so slow in typing. Please increase your typing speed. Please put your, just I want what is it that you're doing, just put it there, okay? It will help us to understand. Wonderful. Wow, Arya has put that, International Business Management. Wonderful. So guys, with that, I would like to actually now invite our guest speaker. But let me see, we are doing so much of hard work to put in some details, provide LinkedIn profile, even put up some videos in the group that we have. Let me see how many of you are seeing that. So who can tell me in the chat box, who is our guest speaker today? What's his name? You can cheat. He's right there in front of you also. Put it in the chat box, please, or unmute yourself and say, who is our guest speaker?
Sanjay ji, good morning. Welcome.
Okay.
Namaskara, Rajiv ji.
Right. Okay.
Namaskara,
So,
namaskara.
so Rajiv ji has said Sanjeev. Okay. Now, who will tell me in the chat box what is Sanjeev's qualification? Anybody? No? Hello? Okay.
Should I do that?
No. Yeah. Please, please.
Anyone?
Okay. Yeah. So I would say Sanjay ji is a financial professional,
Yes.
a registered chartered
Chartered
accountant from
Yeah.
from UK.
Yes.
He has been a leading CEO from the tech industry earlier
Yes.
and a teacher.
Wow, ये तो पूरा horoscope you said. Thank you so much.
I
Wonderful.
haven't given the whole horoscope, but that will take me another half an hour.
I know that will take full 45 minutes, so we can't afford that, because if somebody tries to really go through everything he has done so far, it's just overwhelming maybe for some of our participants. So we will spare them of that. So wonderful. So, guys, my request, this should not be the only webinar you're attending. We have a whole series out there. Sanjay ji will keep coming back if you guys have more and more questions and topics of his kind, and there will be others who will keep coming. Little bit of homework would help you guys come more prepared. And I'm happy to see some of you have even posted some questions in advance. That's awesome. And we will take that up one by one when we get to the question session. But if there are others who have not yet posted but have some questions, I'll encourage you to start putting that in the chat box, or as and when you will hear our speaker present, even then, if you want to actually keep putting your questions, keep putting that one by one, we will take it up. All right. So with this, I would like to invite our guest speaker for the day, Professor Sanjay Dwivedi. Sanjay, over to you, please.
Well, a very warm welcome to everyone, and thank you so much, Archana, for facilitating this series of webinars, which we are actually doing as a way of giving back and leveraging everything that we, along with our ecosystems and networks, can bring for the service of the people who are going to be interacting with us. So who are we going to be interacting with? Firstly, students. I'm very passionate about that because I teach at a B school. Plus, I'm teaching professional chartered accountant wannabes to become chartered accountants. So I'm teaching at a actual prep institute, which is platinum certified, etc. And apart from that, of course, I handhold founders, entrepreneurs, and I'm doing corporate training at MNCs. So the people who are just sub CXO level onwards in all kinds of things, and especially holding entrepreneurship programs. So that's it. Everything else is on the link, so I don't want to say a single word more. And so, Archana, I'm just going to present my screen, and let me just see if I can do that.
Yes, it is enabled.
Just get going so that we can start the session. Okay, so
Yes.
I'm going to start by presenting. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, it's visible, Sanjay.
All right, beautiful. So today's topic for everyone's benefit is tech disruption. Unless you've been meditating in the Himalayas, everyone knows that the big word is the impact of generative AI in particular, and those types of technologies and tools which have been talked about since the 1920s, but now only have reached a stage where we can do something. But specifically for my session, I want to talk about the disruption on your careers, in the finance function, on the accounting profession itself, and of course, if you're going to become a management graduate, what's going to happen. But as a special bonus for the students, because there are a few students here, I'll cover those aspects of exam technique which are now being required because you have the new education policy type initiative just starting. But for many years, you've had those types of initiatives. And while people were doing professional exams, they weren't exactly clear as to what to do. Okay. But before all of that, just read this. This is from 2 days ago. Okay. Right? Everyone see this? The entire company got fired, and it's not as if the company stopped. The company continued. So, why is my question to you all? And we are gamifying this. So, here's the Slido poll of making a servant of Gen AI is critical for my survival. What is your response? Use one word or more. The way you do it is scan the QR code if you want, or if you go on to slido.com, in the box they give you, just type in that code and it'll give you the same, right? So 3 people already, notice here on the top right-hand corner, 3 people have already put up this. We can do better than that. Come on, guys, let's keep it going so that we enjoy the session rather than waiting, right? Okay, and I'm not deliberately showing you what has been said because I want more people to actually comment. I think about 14, 15 people are in the session. So I'm sure you can actually do better. Just one word. What is your emotional response? What's your feeling? If there's a fear, anything, just put it up, right? Okay. The other thing is Archana will also coordinate because in this mode, I'm unable to see the chat box. So if you see on the screen, it's showing one participant was typing, someone has typed. So we have 4 people now. Come on, let's keep going so that we get a session which is interesting, right?
If anybody has a problem in getting on with Slido for any reason, then you can put your answer in the chat. But we would encourage you to go to Slido. It will help.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So now we have 1/3 of the audience participating. Come on, we need a few more. Someone else is now starting, which is great. Yeah, it's simple enough. Just log into Slido, use that if you had trouble using the QR code. And by the way, these are the tools and technologies which have become available to us as educators now, which we never had before, right? Okay, there we are. So if you're going to be faced with Gen AI almost everywhere, what are you going to look at? So someone has said, absolutely, they feel making a servant out of it is better than it becoming your master. Someone has said somewhat disagree, scary yet unavoidable in large caps. And then you have philanthropic, opportunity, social service, etc., etc. So we've got a fairly good, amount of opinions coming in. And I'll teach you something which is coming straight out of the decision-making capability that Jeff Bezos at Amazon has taught everyone. And it's something that is worth learning from. So when you're very senior, let's say you're on top of the pyramid, what Jeff Bezos says is when he gets 70% of the data or facts or whatever, then he will take a decision and simply move on. Will he get things wrong? Yeah, he will. But to keep momentum going so we don't run out of time, we'll just carry on. All right. So there's someone else who said something. Yes, I'm not able to type in. Ziad has said that. Okay, so I'm just going to help Ziad with that. Okay, so we got about 10. So I'm going to move on in the spirit of Jeff Bezos. Okay, so great to know that people have different points of view about AI as a servant versus it mastering you. Straight into impact on careers. Now, I'll just explain this because this may not show up nicely on small screens. To the top left, it is saying, what are the best paid jobs and what jobs are least vulnerable to disruption from the automation that which is coming underway, right? So you had previous names for this. It was RPA, which was being talked about. So basically robotic process automation, etc., coming like that. But now Gen AI is the buzzword. Now, on the extreme right, you'll notice best paid, but most vulnerable. So these are the people, arguably, who are going to be the most vulnerable and most easily replaceable. So if you just go down these, and 220K means $220,000 per year. So obviously, this survey is biased towards what's happening in the US. But the technology that's being used there is the same here, which is why, if you notice in the tech industry, a lot of the job losses, of course, they were more there of these best type. But even in India, we are facing the impact of that. So if I just go down this, you look at compensation and benefits managers. That's in the HR function. Then you look accountants and auditors. So those students who are thinking, should I do CA? Should I do some other kind of degree, etc., etc.? If you have a real passion for accounting and auditing, you are in one of the better paid but most vulnerable professions you can imagine in finance. So it is with credit analysts, people who work out whether someone is a good credit risk or not, people like loan officers, people who simply have to sanction loans. Now you don't even need that. You can just do it with a person on an iPad and you're done, not required. And then as you go down, you start finding things like cashiers and so on and so forth, right? So since this is a finance dominated theme today, so who in the finance domain are we saying are possibly still going to survive? And any prediction is wrong even on the day you make it, but I'm saying let's look up to 2030. So going leftwards, because those are the best paid and least vulnerable. So here we start with the people in finance, right? Look at this one here, personal financial advisors, right? I was one of these in the UK. We call them independent financial advisors. Why this is less at risk, but only, let's say, 50% at risk, is because you have, even right now, what are called robo-advisors or robot advisors. If you have very simple investment need, it'll keep asking you a question, you keep filling it in, and it'll say, hey, your portfolio should be this, based on your based on your risk appetite. So if you're a low risk person, it'll give you a certain, example of a portfolio versus a high risk person, right? Then as you keep going leftwards, you start seeing economists, and then you start seeing general and operations managers, and then again with the finance people, financial managers. So here, the financial managers are those type of people who have a lot of financial background, right? Very hard for the machine to completely replace you, for the very simple reason that since we are human, people are still expecting maximum trust to be there with human beings, all right? And then if I look left, you're looking at lawyers. We'll never be rid of them, what to do. And then you have people like chief executives, etc., right? You get the picture. And of the lower paid people, notice teachers are there, right? So if you're a teacher of finance, you're still going to survive, but no one's going to pay you good money because there is so much information available, which is simply world-class, where it doesn't require too much skill. So the teacher is becoming a facilitator, okay? Having said that, rapidly go on to, so at the workplace, what are the skills required? So there's a global company called Mercer, and they distilled from a huge survey they carried out that there are really 5 key skills. So the first rated key skill required right now, and if you have it with you or if you can develop it, and this is a theme that came up in the first workshop, and I think, Siad, we talked to you about Toastmasters there. First skill within this number 1 rated skill is they want spoken skills, verbal communications. You have to be really, really good at this, right? Because if you're really good at it at a junior level, then your chances of becoming mid-management very, very quickly increase exponentially. And then at the highest level as a CEO or any kind of C-level executive who's actually looking down on the entire organization in terms of what is the strategy, how do we get it done, how do we alliance and partner with people, critical. You have to have great spoken skills, you have to have great written skills, and you have to have what is called confidence, positive attitude, and something called presence. The moment you see a person who is like that, you know who you're looking at, you know who, and it's like a magnet. People come towards them because of this. So if there was any other skill that you have, which is great, but if you don't have this, it's almost like a 80-20 rule where 80% is the first impression you make and the rest of it is how you carry yourself, etc. Right? And then you come to things like problem solving, which involves, are you good at maths, creativity, innovation, etc. Then you come to skill number 3, which is professional skills. Now in India, timeliness and punctuality is celebrated. I'm shocked because I always come on time everywhere, or I inform the person I'll be late. How shocked they are. It's so easy in India, actually, to impress somebody just by being on time, right? It's considered almost like a hygiene at the professional workspace. Everyone likes it. And like I said, if you're getting late, just inform them. If you're working in a global organization, you have to have an organized routine. Then there are things like productivity and time management. What's your focus, your project management ability, etc. Ultimately, there is a saying which says that you have to have trust before a transaction. Transaction is either social interaction or transaction, or someone is paying you something. No one will do business with you unless they trust you. And they trust you how? Professional skills. You impress them every time you meet them, they will definitely interact with you. Then there's, of course, problem solving, responsibility, accountability, etc., right? Why I've dwelt on this is the maximum benefit you can get, whether you're a student still studying and going forward. These are the skills you have to develop. And number 1 of them is your communication skill. And then there are all the others. We'll, give you a screen grab of it. So don't worry, but make notes or take photographs if you want. So, okay. So when it comes to learning, and I did promise in my video that, look, since we have students coming, we're going to talk about learning. So what is the expectation from the exams? Whether you're doing BBA, BCom, any kind of undergrad, or you're now at master's. And I've taught it both. To teach it for Christ University. Now I'm, teaching at Myra Business School. To the left, the pyramid you're seeing there is the famous Bloom's taxonomy, right? So what does it say? So at the lowest level, the expectation from employers, or if you're going to set up a business, is that you should know specific facts, terms, concepts. This is very easy to gather because now not only do you have internet, but you have generative AI, and I'll show you that later practically with generative AI. Second is, do you actually understand the facts? Do you have the capability of looking at them and starting to interpret them, right? Third is to apply knowledge to new situations. Fourth then becomes identify the organization structure and means of organizing things. Evaluation comes even higher, which is judge the quality of something based on its adequacy, value, logic. And then, of course, you have synthesis, bringing it all together. Now, even with exam questions, you have the same thing. You have a beginning which introduces the question in the topic contained in the question. Then you have a midsection which does the analysis, application, evaluation. And finally, you have the conclusion, which is only synthesis. The worst thing you can have when you're working as a chartered accountant, and I think Mahesh will bear me out, as a partner of a CA firm, if I'm at Deloitte, my client is not expecting me to only give gyan and knowledge at the lowest level. They've come to me with a problem. They're expecting me to do all the work up these 5 levels and finally say what is to be done. You know, you cannot have analysis paralysis. They are looking for a simple answer. In fact, McKinsey, the strategy firm, has created a method of communication which wins every client over. They, in fact, start with the conclusion. They say, look, this is the problem, and this is our suggested solution. And then they have something called a McKinsey strategy pyramid, which is MECE. I'll not get into that, but essentially, everyone is looking at your ability to ride up these 5 levels and conclude, right? Now, when we are learning, whether we are a professional or we are a student, this is the cone of learning. So if you just read, and a lot of people you see either reading their phone or whatever, remember you're only going to retain 10% of what you read, right? Look on this, on the extreme right, you'll see there's a pillar which says passive, and then there's a pillar which says active. So the passive remains all the way up till reading, hearing, seeing, watching. These are all passive activities. Now, how do you increase your chances of getting great marks, etc., etc.? Either participate in a group discussion with a bunch of people who are studying the same thing, or if there's no one there with you, create a set of FAQs or frequently asked questions in front of a mirror and explain as if you're actually teaching an audience out there. 90% of what you say and do, you're going to remember, right? It's an easy exam tip. Very few people use it, but this is exactly the way to go about it, right? All right. So this very complex looking, diagram in front of you with lots of printed items, don't worry about it. I'm not going to go through all of it, okay? That's for starters. So Bloom's explanation or scientific method of categorizing how learning happens was on 6 levels. ACCA UK, which is where I'm from, the chartered accountants, they simplified it just to 3 levels. They said, look, actually, when it comes to learning, there's a foundation level. That's where you gather and organize information. There's a mid-level. You analyze the facts into information. And then there is a professional level, the third, which is the highest, which is decide and recommend. Now, my magic tip to you with every question you encounter, do it this way. So ask yourself, frequently ask questions. What are the facts of the situation? You analyze the facts of the situation, and finally, you have to give a decision and a recommendation. And you'll find this is practical. As a CEO, I've turned around companies, and people used to come to me with problems, and I used to make them go through these so that I could do the 3rd level stuff, right? General advice is include all the points, try and show deep understanding, only make relevant points, whether it's in real life or in the exam. Avoid repeating points. So, you think you can just copy paste and get away with it, whether it's plagiarism checkers or it is AI tools now, which people use for grading and marking, etc. There's lots of stuff that's happening out there, which assists professors like me in analyzing stuff, right? And then address the requirements. So if someone's asked a question, answer that first. Because see, I'll tell you, as an examiner, and I've marked many sheets, we are given a marking guide. And in that marking guide, there are points, bullet points. And this is how we do it. The guy's script is open here, my marking guide is here, and I'm simply going and I will give a tick or give a mark based on what's in the marking guide. So if you're wasting my time and yours in the exam, not addressing the requirements and just waffling away, you're just getting zero. You just sat through an exam where you've unnecessarily wasted time and you've actually annoyed the examiner who's looking through your stuff, because examiner's thinking, oh man, I could be having dinner or watching the cricket match, but I'm marking this huge, bunch of scripts that are in front of me, and the guy's wasting my time, right? I kid you not, this is how it happens in real life when people are marking stuff. Marking exam sheets is the most hated activity by profs. Okay, you may think you've done your best in the exam. Actually, you're still up against the prof's level of irritation, level of, not wanting to do the task, because actually it's really, really tedious to do it, right? So make it easy for them. Address to prioritize, structure, and present your answer beautifully. You cannot imagine how many marks people lose just because of bad presentation. And we mentally keep aside 2 to 3 grace marks in our mind. You know, at ACCA professional exam, the worst number to achieve is called number 49. Why? Because the pass mark is 50. There's so many people who get 49. And just because they pissed off the professor by, wasting a lot of time, that one extra mark that they could give, they don't give, which means now you have to repeat the paper again, right? Beautiful presentation all the time. Demonstrate evidence of the knowledge, give examples, right? And of course, professionalism all the way, right? I will not tell you this diagram to the left. It's basically about 3 levels, okay? Next thing, see, back to what they're saying about requirements. The 4 type of professional skills: communication. I already told you what Mercer is talking about at the workplace. Then there is skepticism that you're supposed to always carry with you. There is analysis and evaluation. Commercial acumen. How do you develop commercial acumen? How do you do it? Easiest way to develop this, minimum, you must read business newspaper at least once a day, right? So at least look through the headlines, get to know what is going on, who is doing a merger with somebody, who's listing in the stock market, what is the current cost of, anything, whether it's a commodity like oil, etc. Your GK has to be there, and look at the key issues and use your judgment, right? But these are the 4 things, and this is ACCA, ICAI, CPA, etc. Everyone requires these 4 in particular. Okay, so 5 ways how AI has transformed the finance department. Firstly, risk assessment. We're able to now analyze a crazy amount of data, and I'll just go through an exercise with you. Very conscious of the time, so I'll quickly do this. Then there's smart advisors, whether it's wealth management, there's online trading, which is going on, there's algol trading, and so many other things that happens. Fraud detection and management. One of the aspects of my experience is that I worked with people who set up the FBI, a company called Pinkerton, and we were formally trained in accounting forensics and interviewing people, right? And stuff like that. Managing finance, of course, algorithms are built to have and help you decide a lot of things automatically, all right? So what are the challenges of adopting AI in accounting? Firstly is the quality of the data. It doesn't matter what AI tool you have, etc., etc. If the data is lousy, it doesn't matter, because remember, there's a key word called LLM, that's large language models. If that's full of garbage, it's not going to help. Second is skilled accounting professionals. And I'll just show you why being skilled does matter, right? So being a financial manager, remember the first diagram where we showed that highly paid jobs with less risk of obsolescence, they are skilled accounting professionals, not the bookkeeper type people who can be replaced. Then people are resistant to change everyone hates, but you can only make change happen if you inspire people, right? Show them what's in it for them. Then there's interpretation issues, which of course comes up, especially when using generative AI, because generative AI tools have a problem. They do something which is called a hallucination. That means the result generated doesn't make sense at all. And finally, of course, the expense, right? So again, same thing, back to Bloom's taxonomy. all the way to synthesis. So a last bit of Gyan download, then I'll show you something practical and then we'll do Q&A. So, of course, thing to do is artificial intelligence and prompt engineering for your day-to-day work, client work, coding if you do it, writing and designing, research, get better jobs. Now, so my overall download to you is everybody, and I mean everybody, please do a course, however short, however long. In fact, start with short on prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is nothing other than learning how to write a query in a way that the AI is helped to help you. Now, here you need to understand one thing, that think of AI as another intelligent person who is obedient. So depending on what you tell it to go fetch for you, it will go fetch, right? So how do we do it? So this is the way. So the first thing you do is you set a context for it. Context means you tell AI that, Bhaiya, you are, in this case, act like a search engine optimization manager. Some of the other ones are act like you're the greatest CA in the world, or act like you're the greatest biotechnology scientist in the world. So you're telling it, this is who you are. And it says, okay, this is who I am, right? Now it's got all that information behind it where it'll be talking about the context. Then detailed information. So here it's saying, act like an SEO manager who knows the best copywriting. Notice the qualitative thing that you're guiding it with. The very best. Tell it that. Then tell it, give it a specific goal. You have to deliver blog content about something, and then add an additional goal. Then tell it the tone of voice or structure. You're even able to say, yeah, be polite in this, or speak as if you are a person in your 20s, or something else, whatever qualitative attribute you want to give, you actually do that. Okay. All right. So as a special bonus, I'm going to be actually giving you these links where you can go, and because in your mind, you must be saying, okay, so what, there are millions of courses, what should I do? I'm giving you 2 resources, which you should go and look at the start. All right. Okay. So final bit of download is, this is how a prompt engineering statement looks. Now notice, write at 80 words, add copy for a product called Rocket Growth. So you're telling him directly, what is the word count? What is the product name? And then other things which are highlighted here. And you're saying there should be a guarantee to reduce risk from the solution that's coming out. What are the pain points? And then there is what is called a CTA, or call to action, which is let them sign up at whatever link, right? Now you look at this, this is another way of actually saying, now you're telling the AI or Mr. AI, let's play a game. Act as a talented entrepreneur. Remember, this was the context. You have to act as a talented entrepreneur with an IQ level of Elon Musk, comma, Einstein, comma, Tesla combined. That's not the car, but the famous scientist Tesla combined. And it says, I will be asking you many business questions. You have to answer all of these, right? So you're giving it brains and how many answers. Now notice in this statement, you're treating it as a person who has to be guided, handheld. So don't assume that it knows anything specific to what you're going to ask, right? Okay, so another survey quickly for you, same thing. So your key takeaways from this session were, please answer now. Now you should be good at this, right? And then I'll show you the practical bits, right? And then we'll still have some time, right? Okay, good. The speed has increased, the people typing. It's all good. All right. So you keep answering that. And what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to actually go into a chat GPT example. Okay, because I'm very conscious we have less time. So this is a paid version of chat GPT. It's called 4.0. So I'm going to actually show you. Firstly, there is a tool which says tutor me. So this was some exercise that we were doing on differential calculus. So we said, define differential calculus, show me a solved problem with all the steps explained. It shows you this, right? So this is for learning, right? Then we say, okay, so what about actual finance related stuff? I had a query yesterday from a VC firm. They were concerned about what could be the audit fee rate compared to the quotation they had. I just typed this in, right? And who did I make it search from? There is a version of ChatGPT which is for human resources professionals, right? He searched 5 sites and he actually came up with this, right? Now notice, how would I have found out this information? I would have had to go to the ICAI website. I'd have had to query that. I would have had to go through Google, this, that, and the other. Instead, I just type in one brief expression. And why am I doing it briefly rather than giving context and everything else? Because I am in a version of ChatGPT, which is human resources based, right? Then we say, analyze. And these I've had to do in advance because it's very, very brief session that we're doing, right? So let me show you. This is a set of financial statements. These are 326 pages. Notice this. If I had to analyze this, I would spend probably the whole day doing it. And in corporate workshops, we used to do that. And you go through this, etc., etc., etc. So till ChatGPT was there, we would have this information, we would go through all of this info, and then we would use a spreadsheet like this. I'll just show you. Okay, so this is a spreadsheet which is using Warren Buffett's rules to actually work out whether something is worth investing in or not, right? Now, if you look at this, there's a bunch of business basics, parameters, there's a bunch of company financials, and then you get to actually fill it in. Information sources are, you click there, it goes to a website, brings the financial information, this, that, and the other. Then you painfully feed it into this template here, and then it throws out, according to Warren Buffett's standard, if its sales growth year on year, it should be more than 10%. In this case, this is 26%. So this earns 2 points in the evaluation. Remember, the whole point is to evaluate, and total score from 11 rules, answer should be better than 10. And in this case, they earn 14. So we say, yep, we can actually invest in this, right? So this is how we used to do it. Now let's look at ChatGPT. So I ask, how can firstly, I've ingested the Hindalco annual report into ChatGPT. And then I say, how can ChatGPT help me to analyze ratios from an annual report, right? So it gives all this. This is setting up the stage of this is what you should actually do to actually find out stuff, right? So here you are. Now I start telling it, notice, I've said, you are a financial analyst. Do a 5-year analysis using data from the integrated annual report PDF, which he's just taken in. I've just done that. Output should be an Excel file, tabular format, very specifically. So ChatGPT tells me I've extracted the 5-year financial data, etc., etc., and then it gives me all of this down here, and then it gets into things like, I ask it then, what is the FCFF figure? FCFF is just free cash flow for the firm. This is a number which is used by people like Buffett and all the other sophisticated analysts. They want to know how much money does the company actually generate. It gives the formula for it. It says this is what you have to do. And then it has actually calculated it. Notice I'm talking to it like a human. I'm saying, please, I don't have to say please, please calculate the FCFF for the 5 years, 2018 to 2022. And look at it. It's thrown it up in less than half a second, right? You get it? Okay. So that is where
Sanjay, we are up with time. We can ask the audience if they want to stay
Yes.
back for a few minutes. Of course, it's going very good.
Okay.
So guys, are you all okay to stay back for 5 to 7 minutes to also allow some interaction? If you're okay, just type 111 in the chat box, please. Just put 1.
I'm done actually.
Yes,
I've
yes,
just
okay. So
finished.
there are people saying yes, so please continue. Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I'm just your key takeaways. Okay. A lot of people. So this is this is our collective learning as a group. We are saying, okay, good, etc., etc. Better understand. Okay, I'm going to stop presenting and let's get into interacting with each other. So,
Lovely.
okay.
Thank you.
Please.
Thank you, Sanjay. So are you done? Sorry, were you saying something? Did I interrupt you?
No. I'm done. I'm waiting for questions.
All right.
Anything I can
Okay.
help.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. If all of you liked and felt what he shared was useful, I want all of you to show your love and appreciation with some emotions, please. I have a few going up here. So maybe this, or maybe some better ones than I know, like these. Please show your appreciation. Oh, yeah, there you go. Sunidhi says, okay, and now at least for him to know who did he interact with, can you all show your faces by putting your camera on? I know Harsh was on camera for some time. Ziad was most of the time on camera, and Vindeshwar, you win that one. You have been on camera from beginning, and I do observe that. Thank you. So we will open the session for questions. We would first start off with the questions that were sent by Ziad. So Ziad, if you're okay to ask your question, I would like you to ask your first question. Are you okay to ask? Unmute and please ask.
Yeah, we're getting you to practice your communication skills. Okay, so go ahead.
Okay.
I can put it in the chat box if you want to remember.
No. Let him
Okay.
talk.
No, but does he have the question in front of him?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So basically my question is, in accounting, there is like a financial statements, like we prepare in the end of the financial year, which is from March,
April
March.
1st to March 31st.
March,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So basically we prepare many ratios based on that, right? So so what I want to say is that is AI like is better source for doing these ratios, or the human is a better source for doing these ratios? Yeah.
Wonderful question. So I'll just repeat it. I'll just say that, okay, so if someone is preparing a set of accounts and
Yes.
they need to arrive at the ratio analysis calculation, what is better? Is AI better, or the human being going through, like I showed, painstakingly through an Excel, putting in numbers and allowing the formula to drop out? The answer is, right now it's complex because AI has hallucinations. So what we do in the professional world is that we will actually first do it manually. It sounds like too much work, but remember, who am I preparing the set of accounts for? It is some client, right? So we do that first, and then I'm doing it this way because I like to be safe. I check it with AI, and then I look at if there's any gap in anything. I would say it's about 90% accurate on AI right now. I'm still not getting.
So Mahesh is also raising his hand. Probably
Mahesh
he can
has got his
add
hand
in
up.
something. Yes,
Please add, Mahesh.
You see, I have been in a generation where when we started our CA course, calculators were not allowed. Okay. There were manual calculator, mechanical calculator. I don't know how many of you have seen a mechanical calculator. And then electronic calculators came in. We adopted to it. Then came the question of whether accounting, we used to sit and tally the trial balance. Now who does it? It is all computerized. So what I say is, technologies will progress, should progress. Don't fear it. Make it your companion. Okay. But the day in CA course, which when I did it, the first batch to have computers in the course was EDP, we were called, was our batch. That was the 87 batch and 86 batch rather. And we the size of the computer used to be equivalent to size of few rooms, not even one room, 2-3 rooms, and it used to be film ka reel. So all these things used to be there. But then let me tell you, by 88, 89, hard disks came, smaller workstations came, we started using it. So all this, what I say is, whether it is AI, whether it is anything else, don't fear it. Okay? What you require is a basic fundamental understanding of things which you gain in your studies in books. It is over the life, you will keep on adding skills. Keep your brains open. And I tell you, you will not be able to work without an AI after 10 years. As we cannot calculate today, if you tell 10 rows of numbers to be total, nobody does it. But there was a lot of debate whether the calculator has to be allowed in the CA examination at that point of time. No, that will remove that skill of calculating. Yes, our skill of calculating manually has gone down. But do you now feel that was so important a thing? या दुकान जाना है, 4 आइटम खरीदेंगे तो टोटल वो भी कैलकुलेटर से करता है. आप भी कर लो, आपके मोबाइल में कैलकुलेटर रहता है. So these are things which don't fear. My only thing is don't fear. Knowledge and fundamental knowledge remains the same.
Yeah.
What you talked about, the ratios, you should be knowing the ratio. So if a AI tool helps you in getting the ratio, if you should be able to say the ratio should be around 2:1. If it throws up 20:1, you know it is wrong. Or even 4:1, it shows it is wrong. So
Look
you
at the
need to
gaps.
recheck.
Use it to find the gaps. That's
Yeah.
it.
So it is always that. So don't fear it. Just make it your friend. Technology always, let me tell you, when I did, as I told you, there was no data analysis or anything in the CA, this thing, but I have myself done a EDP program architecture. I have learned SQL myself. Okay, no courses taken. So these are data analysis. Once you learn, you have to learn. That's all. And learning is a process over the life. That is all I want to tell. And don't fear. Nothing is fearful, and everything is helpful. Don't worry about it. Technology will be helpful.
Fantastic
Mahesh.
point.
We have another
Fantastic.
question from Rajiv.
Yeah. Actually, Rajiv might want to even add something to this. Yeah, whoever wants to even add to a discussion going on, please raise your hand like they're doing. Yeah, Rajiv, please.
Right. I want to add on to what Maheshji was saying, because he took the conversation the actual right direction.
Yeah.
If I remember, when I was in school, I was in college, there was this whole big hangama about computers coming, computerization. Everyone was in the political party that was in the forefront of the protest. They themselves, while doing the protest, they were computerizing their headquarters. All the data
Right.
of their, their cadre and their activities is computerized. So there is an irony in this. There is a little bit of hypocrisy there. If you see now, there are a lot of news saying that people have sacked, the companies have sacked people, and they're conveniently blaming AI. But if you really analyze the whole thing, you'll understand that it is not AI to be blamed. It is the company. They just blame AI. For example, the example which Sanjay ji has given, it shows that even the person whom they hired to prompt the AI himself was sacked. So it should not be AI who should be blamed.
Very good point. Yes.
Yeah. So, but what we are missing over here is AI is going to disrupt our life. It has not disrupted yet. Generative AI is becoming more powerful. AI is becoming more powerful. Robotics is becoming more powerful, but it is not yet powerful. There are lots and lots of gap between what it can do and what it is doing now. Basically, because AI cannot work alone in isolation. It needs, for example, it needs large language modules. It needs training. It needs to be integrated with a lot of other aspects, like when you use, for example, in my portfolio, I got 7 companies which are working on advanced generative AI even before ChatGPT was launched. We had a solution, one of the ventures had a solution where we have a problem in the film industry and the advertising industry that when you make an advertising, you need to dub it into various languages. And you can't do it because you don't have good translators and you don't have good dubbing artists. And this software first creates a script in whichever language that you want, which you can edit, and animated, character, a voice modulator to uh, convert that into speech. But the speech solution, text to speech, was available 20 years ago. I've used it 20 years ago for empowering our PowerPoint presentations. We have a company which has created a tool, very powerful tool for call centers, where the computer takes over, creates a virtual agent which mimics even human prompts. Like when you talk, the customer on the other end might say something. Let's say, "I'm not available right now. Can you call me later?" And the system automatically responds to him accurately, and even asks, what time would you be free? Customer says, "I'll be free
Thanks,
tomorrow,
Rajiv. I
11
think we'll
o'clock."
have to keep this brief because there are a
But
few
I
more
just want to,
questions. Sorry.
I just
please.
want to add, I just want to add one more thing, right?
Yes, please.
So finally, coming down to the most essential thing, what we need is people to improve their deep knowledge of a subject or a function.
Yeah.
This is what we are losing out.
Fundamentals.
People
yeah,
are
that
not
was strong.
spending, not just the fundamentals. I'm talking beyond the fundamentals. You talk about accountants. Accountants don't know half of accountancy, finance, and the legal aspects and the compliance. Very few people know very well. I'm seeing a lot of my friends struggling to communicate with chartered accountants, get the right kind of solutions from them. When it's really bad.
Yeah.
People are missing out on the fundamentals and deep knowledge of their functions and their jobs. This is where we need to push in and we need to focus a great deal. Of course, we need to learn AI. AI is going to be very important, but unless we have the fundamentals, unless we know the subject.
I think
Thank you.
fundamentals being strong, thanks so much, Rajiv. Fundamentals being strong, I think all the speakers are saying the same thing, that fundamentals have to be strong. And then any technology can be a boon. It can make you more efficient. You shouldn't fear it. You should keep adapting, right? So Ziad, you got your answer?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Ziad.
Pleasure.
So there is a
And I just want
question
to
from
ask,
Asad.
just add one final point, which is that
Yes.
I cannot imagine my life now as a professional without generative AI. It is so useful. And I've done about 130 formal hours of learning, at various courses, etc., etc. If I can do it at my stage of life, I'm sure everyone else can as well. Okay.
Absolutely. And I think
Thank
coming
you.
back also to the point that Mahesh also made, that we have to be lifelong learners. And Sanjay, always keeps saying that in all the forums that we have, that continuous learning is important. Don't think just now I'll finish my graduation and that's it. After that only it will be application. We are learning even today, every single day, new stuff that comes to us, right? So be ready for that. Great. Next question from Asad. To Professor Dwivedi, AI is susceptible to mistakes. Can you throw light on need for right instructions to AI to get results? I think this is exactly the point he was talking, prompt engineering, but over to you, Sanjay.
It's a wonderful question because it makes the difference between getting a hallucination from generative AI to actually getting exactly what you need. And therefore, we could spend a half a day just going into this and practicing. The key thing is to keep practicing, and the more precise you can use, more precision in your language. Because see, English is not like Sanskrit or any other precise language, right? So there are multiple meanings of words, etc. That's why even with the prompt engineering, it sometimes tells you, take on the tone of this. I can say yes in 10 different ways. I can say yes in English and mean no. So if I say yes, that means I don't believe you know, right? Etc. etc. Okay. So exact, very precise language. Firstly, tell it who it is. tell it the context, tell it the quality or standard of output you require, tell it the format of output you require, etc., etc. Right? They'll become too
Sanjay, we
complicated. I
need
don't wanna
part
do
2
this.
of your session.
Okay.
This is not enough.
Right,
There
that's
are
why-
questions.
Asad, I hope I answered you, but
Yes, Asad, I hope you got the answer. And yes, Amit, understand, please carry on. Aarti, last question from you, and then we'll have to conclude the session, please. Yeah.
So thank you, Sanjay. Had a fantastic session, that too with the PPT. Only one thing is, in what you showed, you told that the retention is only 10% of what we read. In that, I little vary. Actually, in mobiles and all, what you're telling is okay. Means when we read on a mobile and all, we don't remember. But when we read a physical book, or when I read your PPT, I don't think I'm going to forget these sessions for a long time. So I only little vary on that reading also has a very good retention according to me.
I agree that what you have to do is what is called active reading. Active reading means you highlight, you underline, you make scribbled notes, etc. Then you retain more. Otherwise, if you passively read.
Yes, passive reading, we don't.
And actually, if you discuss what you are reading and you are hearing people
Even
discuss, then the retention is even more. Yeah,
more.
absolutely. So we used to do
always. I used to underline things.
Yes, highlight,
some
underline.
notes on the side.
Yes.
And when you revise anything also, that helps you a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that
Group,
is definitely
and even
what,
group study, I don't know how much study used to happen in that, but there used to be group study concept. We used to go and study with others, right? So I think discussing what we have read also makes a difference. So guys, we will have to call this session to an end because I have my next meeting alarm going on for a long time. This was superbly wonderful, fantastic session. All of you, please put in the chat box before you leave how you felt about the session. It will be a great encouragement for the organizers and more for the speaker who has put in a lot of preparation. And I would love to see all of you come back for our future webinars also. Specifically whether this topic or not, you will see all of us as mentors being present. We will be available to answer your queries and suggestions if you have about other topics that we should discuss. Please put that in the WhatsApp group we have. If you have more questions for Sanjay that we could not take up today, you're most welcome to please post it either in the group or you can separately post it to me or to Sanjay. His details are there and we would try to get to that. But if you put it in the group, the advantage is it helps everybody unless, it's something very personal and you don't want to discuss about that in the group. Either case, keep interacting with us, stay in touch, and I would love to see all of you again next week, 11 o'clock.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
more interactive participants.
I know, totally. See, look at us, Ziad has become part of us. Okay, Ziad, you are part of us now. Camera on. Vindeshwarji, first time you have won our hearts. So you are also part of us. The rest of them have to become solid, with their cameras on full time. But yes, thank you. Thank you so much. And Himanshu couldn't say hi to you. Hi and bye for now, but good to see you and speak to you later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Professor.
All the best, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, Sanjay. I need to run seriously for a next meeting, but I'll catch up, but it went very well. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.